The darkness stopped moving. Everything became silent. Even the hollow woman remained still. Then, one of the portraits spoke. "Emily." A man's voice. Weak. Tired. She turned toward the wall. The portrait showed a young man wearing clothing from another century. His eyes moved, blinking, alive. "Please," he whispered. "Don't leave us here." Another portrait began speaking. Then another. And another. Soon dozens of voices filled the chamber. Each portrait contained a trapped soul. Generations of her family, people who had vanished without explanation, people the world believed were dead. But death would have been kinder. They were prisoners, held inside the house, forced to watch time pass endlessly. Emily fought back tears. "How do I free you?" An elderly woman answered. "End the pact." The chamber trembled. The hollow woman's smile faded. For the first time, the creature seemed angry. One portrait slowly moved forward. The image belonged to Margaret, Emily's grandmother. Unlike the others, she looked calm, almost peaceful. "My sweet girl." Emily's heart broke. "Grandma." The portrait nodded. "I never wanted this for you." Margaret revealed the truth. When she was 17 years old, she entered Black Hollow Forest. There she encountered the hollow woman. At first the creature appeared harmless, lonely, sad, lost. It promised protection, prosperity, long life, but every gift demanded a price. A soul, one soul every generation. Margaret spent her entire life searching for a way to break the curse. The diary, the hidden room, the warnings, everything had been part of her plan. She simply ran out of time. Before disappearing, Margaret whispered one final clue. "The answer is in the forest." Then her portrait froze once more. Before dawn, Emily left the house. For the first time in her life, she entered Black Hollow Forest alone. The trees seemed alive, watching, listening. The deeper she walked, the colder the air became. Soon she discovered something hidden among the trees. Ancient ruins, older than the town, older than the house. At the center stood a stone altar, covered in symbols. And there she found the truth. The hollow woman had not been born evil. Centuries ago she had been human, a grieving mother. Her child died during a terrible winter. Driven mad by sorrow, she begged dark forces to return her daughter. Something answered, but instead of returning life, it transformed her, twisted her grief, turned her into something eternal, something hungry, something that fed upon loss. The hollow woman wasn't a monster born from darkness. She was a victim who became one. Night fell. 2:17 a.m. approached. Emily returned to the house carrying the final piece of the ritual. The giant clock waited. The portraits watched. The hollow woman stood beside the chamber, smiling. "Have you chosen?" Emily nodded. The creature moved closer, confident, certain of victory. Then Emily spoke the words written on the altar. Ancient words, forgotten words. The chamber shook violently. The giant clock cracked. Every portrait began glowing. The trapped souls cried out, for the first time in generations. The prison was breaking. The hollow woman screamed, a terrible sound, part human, part something far older. Shadows exploded from her body. The walls split apart. The house itself began collapsing. The curse was dying. But there was one final step, one final sacrifice. Someone had to remain behind. Someone had to hold the doorway closed forever. Emily understood immediately, and so did the hollow woman. The creature stared at Emily. Then something unexpected happened. Tears appeared in the hollow woman's eyes. Real tears. For a brief moment, the monster disappeared, and the grieving mother returned. I only wanted my daughter back. Emily felt her anger vanish. All that remained was sadness, centuries of pain, centuries of loneliness, centuries of regret. Then Emily reached out her hand. The hollow woman hesitated. No one had shown her kindness in hundreds of years. The chamber trembled. The doorway between worlds opened wider. The trapped souls began escaping. Light filled the darkness, and for the first time, the hollow woman smiled without malice, without hunger, without hatred, only sorrow. Then she stepped into the doorway herself, choosing to end the curse, choosing to remain behind, forever. The doorway closed, the giant clock shattered, and silence returned. 6 months later, the house still stood, but everything had changed. The clocks no longer stopped. The whispers were gone. The portraits remained ordinary. The trapped souls were finally free. Emily placed fresh flowers beside her grandmother's photograph. Then she smiled. Outside, sunlight filled Black Hollow Forest. For the first time in centuries, the curse was over, or so she believed. That evening, while locking the front door, Emily noticed something strange. A photograph she had never seen before, hidden among the others. It showed a woman standing deep within the forest, watching, smiling. Not the hollow woman. Someone else. Someone new, and on the back of the photograph, 3 words were written: "Coming home soon, the end."